amazing. Absolutely beautiful.
The
Oh,
DR.
and I was in an earthquake. Forgot to tell you that part.
Shut up. You was in an earthquake?
I swear, but I didn't
A
know it was an
live
earthquake.
earthquake?
Yeah, it was like a 5.7, but it
Oh
lasted like,
man.
I don't know, 6 or 7 seconds. It didn't last very long.
Oh, okay.
But I thought it was a big thunderstorm, and I was like, oh, that's thunder, like kind of vibrating the building. And of course, Abel's from California. He's like, no, that's
No,
clearly an
yeah.
earthquake. I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, I didn't know. You don't know
Yeah,
what you don't know.
absolutely. Yeah. I
It
mean,
only took me leaving California to experience an earthquake.
oh, you
Doesn't
had
make any
hurricanes in
sense.
Florida.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Let's get this started. Today's topic, while I get us all settled, right, is going to be women and entitlement issues.
Yes.
Ooh, we getting to the nitty gritty on this end. When I get this all set up, Carrie, for the viewers, for the replay watchers, for the shorts, the commentators, who are you? What would be going over, and let them along while I get this all set up for us.
I'm Carrie Polero. I am a relationship and mindset coach helping high achieving women stop chasing love and be the prize in their life.
Now, one of the main issues that I know you had was that question where they said you were the prize when in all actuality it was some people was taking it out of context, and that's what brought us up to our subject, right?
Yes. Yeah. I
Talk about
think,
that.
yeah, well, I think there's just so there okay, so there's too many so many different areas that we can go in with this. Like we get to be the prize, and I think that can be taken out of context to a place of arrogance in a way, and
Correct.
entitlement and demands, and that's not what the prize is. The prize is really having a self-concept that is so strong and knowing who you are so deeply that it doesn't matter if anybody enters or exits your life. You know that you're going to be fine because you have everything you need inside of you, period. That's what being
Correct.
the prize is all about.
I mean, that's the perfect clarification of it all, because I know you got into you got into some other things with some other women, because like the movement, the feminist movement, all this back stuff. You've been down this path. This is why you're my special guest all the time. This is why you're perfect for it, because she used to be an angry person.
Oh my
Because
God.
but that's so cool because you notice. I mean, let me take that back, right? Let me take it a few steps back. Years ago, Miss Carey used to be this type of person. She was angry with the world. She was finding herself. She did bring 10 years ago. Didn't fast forward today. She just came back from the DR in an earthquake and enjoyed her life. The prize meaning, yes, you can have everything within yourself if you put in the work. A lot of the times, women, men, everybody, couples, they don't put in the work to salvage their relationships. So what's important, right? And understanding that that's one of those things that, it takes a little work, because the prize meaning, yeah, you're ready for acceptance and abundance and putting it out there, like Carrie says before, but actually having that at the get go takes that time, right? Explain some of that while I still get this. Sorry I jumped into you, but I
Oh
just
no.
wanted to just throw that one in there.
Well, I think that we hear so much about being the prize, and a lot of times it comes from a place of entitlement, like
Oh, man,
ego, control.
man.
Yeah. And that is not the energy of being the prize. Like that is not the work that I do with my clients at all whatsoever. And because the entitlement, the ego, the control, that comes from frustration, anger, that comes from unresolved trauma, stuff that you are still holding on to come in. And it's just a protection mechanism. Do you know what I mean? To
True.
where it's like, I'm going to set the tone and try to control the relationship, and you need to be a particular way when really and I also want to clarify this too. That doesn't mean that you don't get to have standards. You get to have standards, and you get to look for the particular partner that you desire, but you also get to be in contribution. And I think that's the big difference. Is it's like, well, I'm just uh, from what I've been experiencing, I've gotten a lot of pushback with women saying, well, I mean, I'm just here. Men should bow down to me and do this and do that. And I'm like, oh, no, no, no. That's not the,
Ooh.
no, like that is not the energy. And I get it because I used to be there. Oh my
That's
gosh.
exactly why that's just so
Whew.
perfect.
Like I can't demand for a man to choose me. I can't demand for a man to adore me. Do you know what I mean? Like if I'm in this demanding, like that's control. That's not even fucking leadership. Like that's not even leading myself in my
You know,
life.
that was just about to say, not even leading yourself.
Yeah. And being the prize is a form of leadership. It is you leading yourself through your life. And then everything that comes into your space is like a beautiful compliment to the life that
Absolutely.
you're creating. You're not looking for somebody else to create your life for you. You're the only person that can do that.
Right. Right. Doc says like everybody that comes in, if you get yourself right, look at it this way. Everybody else is a bonus you get to share everything with that just brings it on as a prize. Because when you're happy with yourself, when you can let that ego go, when you can, like you said, heal your past trauma, whatever situation baggage you have, then you open up. Everybody else you share with is just a bonus. But at the end of the day, a lot of times people do not get that. And that's very sad because the ego might be talking like you said. You might be listening to old advice or somebody that's single that never even experienced this stuff, right?
Hmm.
How did that make it so that you became miserable versus now when you see the back end of it now?
Um, well, I think I think where it even came from, like for me, was having so much anger and frustration towards my dad, right? And
Right.
then of course every relationship. But really, what solidified a lot of this for me, the entitlement piece anyway, was working in the strip club environment.
Yeah.
And that environment just like completely solidified like the entitlement, the ego, the control. And so when I left that environment, like that's all I knew. Like that was normal,
Yeah.
right? And so it's like, but and it was difficult for me to grasp that this is just that was the energy of that container, right?
Yes.
Like that's not
Yes.
the
No,
world.
absolutely.
And
Yes.
like
Yes.
that's the energy of that container. For me, it was just like, oh, um, I can manipulate men to get money
Yeah.
and worship me and do what I want them to do. And because I was in that environment for so long, I thought that that's how relationships had to be. I didn't believe that someone could just love me for me.
Correct. 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 Because you wasn't, it was all transactional.
Everything. And
Yeah.
that's how I treated
Yeah.
all of
Yeah.
my
Everything.
relationships was transactional. I didn't know any other way.
Yeah. Explain that from, if you see that this is so cool because between the friendship I have with Carrie and myself, like we can talk about this stuff. We've been in that lifestyle. I've been a club owner. I've dated people in the club. I've been in that life so many different ways. And to be able to talk about this freely, because I don't want nothing but the best for Miss Pillow. She same thing, the best, because I know the turmoil. Hey guys, yeah, babysitting and then the best friends, and the turmoil that you've been through to see the light, to let go of the ego, to not be so transactional, to have transformation, to have able to look at the steps, to change the beliefs, all that work. When the entitlement issues come out for women that you talk to, or
Mhm.
that that you've seen on the comments, what are the misconceptions for girls with guys that what they call them 304s
I've never
nowadays?
heard that term, three or
Oh, you know
fours.
what? Oh man, 304s is like the industry girls now.
I have
On the
never
ones,
heard that.
if you guys,
What? What? I'm like missing all of
it's
this.
yeah, look up on TikTok 304s. I mean, because now it's open. Now everything is transactional. Now you gotta have a standard. I mean, I get it. You have women, you have standard, but when you put that standard away, they want a man with makes over $200,000 a year. He's got to be 6'3" with no kids, but you're 40 something.
And this is the whole thing is I believe you can have whatever you want. you can set the standard for whatever you want,
Yeah.
but you just don't get to be an asshole. Do you
Yeah,
know what I mean?
absolutely.
Like you don't get to be demanding and come and manipulate and lead from superiority or try to lead the relationship. Do you know what I mean? It's like
Deep.
we're
Yeah.
both equal playing field. We both have a part in the relationship and we're both equal. And I believe that there is like yes, there is sometimes for that the women are going to lead and but it flows like back and forth,
Absolutely.
right? Because it is about leading myself for one in my own life and that will transfer over into the relationship, but there's also a time where I get to surrender, and
That's huge. Surrender. Yep.
in the surrender is the beauty of the relationship. So when we were just at in India with we were with Abel's family, and I was sitting with his aunt. She's like 85 years old, and she had been married for 65 years when her husband passed. And I
Oh,
was like,
okay.
what was the secret to being married for 65 years? And she essentially said it was surrender. And but in her interpretation of surrender was kind of it was a little different than mine. Whenever that there was a conflict, she would she's very strong in her faith. She would go and pray, and that was her like
Okay.
surrendering to her
Okay.
husband. It was like instead of if at least in my experience of myself, when there's conflict, I want to push back. I
You
want you to
run.
feel my point.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to
And
win.
I want to win, right? And being in a relationship is not about winning. It's about how can we come to a solution today? Because if there's a winner, then there's a loser, and nobody wants that. It's like you give up winning. It's just about understanding one another and seeing each other's perspective and showing respect for one another as well. So it was really interesting to listen to her um, share about being in that level of surrender. I thought it was really beautiful.
That
Um,
is.
and being together for 65 years, that's so crazy. I mean, it's not crazy. It's like, I think it's a miracle. It's amazing. You don't hear about that today
I
as
mean, because
often.
everything else is so transactional with everything else. Everybody's trying to get something else. Even like when I watch these shows at night because for the type of content we're doing, for the mindset and everything else, women nowadays just want to be transactional to make it taken away from guys. They're looking for high value men, but they're not high value themselves, right?
Correct.
So when you talk about that, because you've been in two worlds now, which is the beauty of it. You've been in
Mhm.
both worlds and you can see the error in the ego, the entitlement, the non-surrendering, the winning, the ego, the pride. All for what? At the end of the day, you get to a certain point where it's like it turns into doo-doo. You're gonna be lonely, you're gonna be away, you're gonna have no connection to nobody else. What do you say about that?
Oh my God. Yeah, and the beauty about that is if I believe that I'm single and I believe that I'm going to be alone, like I create that environment to set myself up for that. And that's where the demanding, the entitlement comes from, because not there is not a human being on the planet that is going to sign up for that forever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's going to give and give and give and give. At some point, they will, it's not inspiring to continue to give to someone who does not reciprocate at all. And what does that say about my self-worth? I'm not sticking around for that to be abused. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah, no,
I'm going to take
absolutely.
off. And then it's it's a beautiful thing. Oh, I find myself alone. Holy shit. But I created that.
You created it, right?
Yeah. Like I
But
totally
when
created that.
at what point does you creating that at a certain, say, for a woman, you realize that it's over, right? How does that, because when you're young, when you're in the life, you're doing everything, you don't think about those things. And what
Mhm.
they call it is the wall, because you felt so entitled in your early days, but it runs out. The shelf life runs out. You mean even the mentality runs out. I mean, you can keep the physicality of it all correct. You can keep up your looks. You can put all the plastic surgery. You can do everything else. But if you didn't fix yourself,
Right. None of that stuff matters. The outside doesn't matter because what radiates from within is what
Right.
everyone's going to see.
Yeah. Give me, I want to know, give me a story of how your entitlement got you in a wreck back then versus a situation where you encountered with Abel where you kind of like changed.
My entitlement got me in a wreck. Let's see. I
I
think
mean,
there
we know
might
we got
be.
a lot of wrecks, but ones that stand out, and we're gonna be focused just on that, and in the two controversial points of it all, right? Because the modern woman is messed up right now,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? So that's
So
what,
I I think about being in my very first relationship that I was in when I was going through like recovery and leaving the club. I didn't understand I still thought everything was transactional, right? Like I do for you and you do for me.
right,
I was living with someone. He was like taking care of all the bills, and he was like, I left the club, was getting my life together, and he was like, just handle your stuff. And
right.
I kept thinking I still needed to be transactional with him in that relationship. I
Oh,
didn't understand that, hey, this was his way of supporting me.
yeah,
And I got to reciprocate in some way. Like I had all of these really weird rules because I felt like they were power plays on me. So for example, like like I'm not I don't want to clean. I don't want to do your laundry. I'm not cleaning up after you. I'm not doing your laundry. Like I don't want to cook for you. Because in my mind I had interpreted all of these things as a power play where you would be superior to me
true.
and I would be less than.
Yeah,
And that's just the story I had created in my head. It wasn't true, but this was when I was trying to transition out of all of this old lifestyle and this and these old stories that were keeping me confined in that space. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean?
absolutely.
So yeah, like and so I had this entitlement, and he would try to communicate that to me, like, "Hey, this really feels," and I'm just kind of like, "Well, like tough shit." Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, but like
Okay. Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
you trying to control me. I remember getting into like a huge argument with him, and I'm like, this is you trying to control me because you want me to
Oh,
be submissive, and I'm not going to
oh,
be submissive.
yeah.
And we had this huge argument, now today I look back and I'm like, oh, that was so not what he was trying to communicate, but I wasn't available for that
Yes,
conversation at that time
yes.
because I was still stuck in the old lifestyle
That
of
behavior
that
came
old
out.
behavior
Yeah,
because everybody wants something from you in that
yeah.
environment. And so I
Right.
take that now into my relationship. He wants something from me. He wants me to be submissive and be less than, and I'm not willing to do that. Like I left that club because I know that I'm worthy. And then you're asking me to come to this environment and you're making me feel less than. It was all his fault.
Oh,
And really it was just my thinking, right? It was just
right,
the way I was
right.
thinking. And from his perspective, he was like, "Oh my God, I'm really supporting this girl to create a completely new life."
Correct.
And it's amazing how when it's so true that you create your own reality because we both had two completely different realities. He was trying to
Yes.
support me, and I thought he was trying to control me, and
Was
that's
he in the
not.
life? Did he have any clue, or he
Yes, he
was
was in the
there to
life, so
support?
he got it too. He
Okay.
and he would even try to communicate that to me, like, "Hey, you're a little jaded, and
Yeah.
maybe you get to work through this." And I'm like, "No,
No.
you're the controlling one."
Yeah.
Um, but that was how I always saw him, and so he will always be controlling until I change that perspective.
Yeah. I mean, but in actuality, like that was his way of supporting you. Oh, and here's another thing, guys. If you're watching this in a replay and you hear me and you see me laughing, right? It's not I'm laughing at Carrie stuff. It's because I know the situations that that occur in this mindset. I know because if you're watching this in a replay, reach out to Carrie Polero if you need any help, or watch our workshops. I mean, leave us a comment because it's not I'm laughing at her and I should shut up because when one of the comments came on Carrie's page, it's I'm laughing at the situation because it's humorous now because we can laugh at it now.
Yeah.
Now you take that transactional entitlement egotistical version of Carrie before. Fast forward today with you and Abel, the respect level you have for yourself and for Abel and the relationship is so much different. The dynamic is different, right?
It is.
Explain that versus having that entitlement issues before.
Well, and I think too, like I want to clarify, like coming into this relationship too, there still was belief systems that were still in place.
Oh, of
So,
course.
and actually on our way home from LA yesterday, we were talking and I said, man, what kind of has dawned on me is I'm like really appreciative for all of the ways that you show up for me. And then what hit me was, oh my God, he's been showing up for you since day one. You were unavailable for it then. And so it's like slowly been able to see it over
That's
the last
amazing.
couple of years. And then I really was able to notice it this last trip, like in a whole different way, where I was just like, oh, wow, he is absolutely remarkable in the way that he shows up for me and his family, his mom, his aunt, his sisters, like from this provider energy and this supportive
Correct.
energy and from a leadership place too. So it
Oh,
was like it
yeah.
was all of these things I was noticing and I was like, oh wow. Like that feels so good to notice that you have like a partner that's in contribution in that way. And then it was like, because the first thing that popped in my head was, wow, he's really changed a lot. And
Oh,
then
he's changed.
in my mind, I said that, right? And then
Oh,
I
but
laughed because I thought of a mentor that I have who, if I said that to her, she would be like, no,
no.
you're the one that's changed. Your
Yes.
ability to see your reality is changing. Your thinking is changing. Your ability to see what's really happening is changing. And this is what you're choosing to create now today, rather than create the conflict
The
and focus
friction.
on the friction and all the
Yeah.
ways that you don't think he's showing up or that he should show up.
If you were to look back, right? If you was to look back at the times where you thought he was creating friction, and you hit a mean keyword, a major keyword. I wasn't available, but he hasn't changed. You changed,
Right.
and in a way that you didn't notice it, but that's I get the behaviors, I get the old habits, I get the old thing because that's just part of you.
Mhm.
But you get to learn to make a choice now because you choose in actuality to become this person that you are right now, right? Even like for me when Andres hears all my stories, right? It's like, oh, this and that, she hears all the stories. She tries to get it from other wives, but it's like, okay, even like from an early point, right? How does it feel knowing that you started out as worthy AF, being the prize, to now what is the real prize in
Oh,
your own
wow.
words?
I feel like being the prize is that moment that you recognize that you are worthy of everything that you desire and you lead yourself in a way that like every day you show up to your life knowing that making choices based off of that new thinking rather than oh my God, I have to shrink or oh my God, I have to behave this way in order for people to like me. It's I like me. I like me. I'm showing up. I'm leading myself to do the things that I desire. It's not based on like your likes or your comments. Like all that shit's a fucking bonus if you like it. If not,
Exactly.
I'm not for you, man. Like it's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Yeah. It's
but
not.
I get to live my life like from my joy and my joy is all that matters, right? As long as I'm happy and I'm experiencing joy and excitement and like I'm loving my life, then that's going to be felt, period. And no one has to approve of it.
Yeah, because you don't need to seek outside validation for the life that you created, right? The
Absolutely.
outside validation that you have, external validation, whether it's from, yeah, social media, is it from likes, from your friends, is it from your single friends, from your other friends, this that. If you're looking for outside validation, it's not going to work. You just have to validate yourself in your current situation that you have going on right now. And how does that bang heads with entitlement?
Well, I find that when you are demanding that people recognize you as the prize, you don't recognize yourself as the prize.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's where the entitlement all comes from. It's just like I don't have the ability to recognize myself for who I truly am, the beauty in myself, the amazing human being that I am. And because of that, I need you to. And so if you don't, I'm going to demand it from you because
Ooh.
I need to feel good inside. And so I'm going to manipulate, I'm going to try to do everything that I can in order to make myself feel better. But in the end, it doesn't last. Right? Because it's
I
only
was
going to
just about
last
to
as
say that.
long as you're like hanging out with me, and then you're going to get tired of it, and then you're going to leave. I'm going to feel the emptiness inside, and I'm going to look for someone else to provide me with that type of validation or like fake security, whatever you want to call it. But I'm just going to keep taking and taking and taking. That's the taker energy, right? Like I'm just going to take and take and take and take. And then I'm going to find myself alone because no one's going to want to be around me because I'm just a taker and I'm not in contribution in any way.
But even in your past life, when you was in the club and you was doing that and you was doing stuff, that's what everybody did. Everybody was just take advantage of each other. That's just part of the lifestyle. That's part of the behavior. That's part of the pain that we was all covering up,
Yep.
basically, because is we didn't get. I mean, that's we can talk honestly about it. It's like we didn't get that at home. We're seeking validation for your dad. I was trying to find acceptance. I didn't do this. I did it with drugs. I did it with money. I did it with power. I did it with this. I mean, the list can go on and on. Explain to me some of the women entitlements of delusional a woman versus one that's gotten help for themselves. Since I can talk to you about that. It makes for good content also.
So
Good
and
talking
I've seen
points.
this in two different ways, which is, um,
Perfect.
so I've seen the women that, for example, that leave the club and that still think that that transaction must take place, right? Like, because let's think
Yeah.
about it. You come into the club as a customer. You come in, you're looking for something specific. I'm going to provide you with a service. And
Okay.
so it's a transaction. I already know. Now you carry that into a relationship. That's just absolutely not going to work. Um,
Especially on a
because,
bad habit like that.
pardon me?
Especially like a bad habit like that.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Talk to me
Well,
about that.
I'm not going to say it's not going to work. I have seen it work. However,
Okay.
I have seen it work in the way that there is no true connection between the
Right.
two people. It just
Right.
remains this transactional thing and this rigidity. And some people are comfortable with that. Some women want to keep those walls up, right? Because if I'm vulnerable,
Yeah.
it's kind of like you learn working at the club, like that, like this person, there is no emotional connection. They are just here and then they leave and then that's it. It's there's no emotional vulnerability, none of that. It's all just an act. And so you cannot take an act into a relationship and think that you're going to create a connection. It's not going to happen.
Right. 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 I mean, I get that part because if you look at it, everything transactional, like you said, you put up your walls, you feel entitlement, you should get this, you can. It's only so long before a guy is just gonna be like, man, I'm done with you, right?
Yeah.
Because it has happened because the beauty, the physicality, everything, you might have power in the beginning. Even like for some of my exes, right? Okay, I had even some of the vivid girls used to come to Hawaii to come see me. I had porn stars, clubs, all these. I was, everything was trying, and I also groomed these women to become transactional because it was for me to make my money.
Right.
Right,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
right, right. So now you would teach them, you would show them, but then I always taught them like we're gonna take this, we're gonna use this into real world struggles because the transition is where we're at right now in our phase, in our season of life, where
Hmm.
now you can change that entitlement to something that can be very powerful if it's used correctly,
Hmm.
right? How do you see the modern woman use entitlement with the guys now and simping?
So, I've seen what I've really seen a lot on social media, which I find is really comical is, and I don't know if you're familiar with this whole like pay pig thing that's going around.
The
The
pig?
pay pig with like it's like this fetish where people will just like give you money. Men will just like give you money for whatever it might be. It just to kind of like exist, but you're supposed to be like these women are so mean to them. It blows my mind. Like,
Oh, I
I,
mean that's almost like a BDSM, like a dominatrix type of thing.
yeah, it is. It is very similar. And and it's like I'm not saying anything is wrong.
Right.
It, whatever you're into is whatever
Yeah.
you're into, but you just get to be like it gets to be a respectful and emotionally safe place. So if
Okay.
I'm coming at you and I'm just kind of like, hey, I'm demanding that you buy me things, right? I'm using you
Correct.
to benefit myself
Hmm.
and I'm not giving back in any way. Like that's where I really see a lot of the entitlement of from women anyway. And or thinking, well, I don't need if he's not going to give me what I want, then I just don't need him. He's no good. And I'm like, oh, is that really true? Or are you just trying to control the situation? And at the same time, I've seen a reverse too, where women are in order to feel in their power, they might find a man who is not as financially stable as them and try to take care of them and then try to like encourage them to be a particular way and change them and then get upset because they're demanding that he create more money and he become this person and
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
hey, I'm here, this is who I was when you met me and now you want me to be different. So it's really interesting the different ways that entitlement can show up.
True. Very so very true. But you mean it even like for us, like as a man, okay, you might have some sort of like I'll give you a perfect example. Andrea might have entitlement issues. She doesn't mean she has the entitlement, she just has standards. Right?
Hmm.
I can live with that. Okay. Now, if she has entitlement issues where it's too overbearing, right? Like
Hmm.
how you was like in your past life where this is how it is, this is what it was, there's no give and take. This is where, you know what I mean? A lot of the time guys will treat it like a transaction, right? This is why the
Hmm.
rise of OnlyFans and all this
Yes.
other stuff, all this other good stuff, because when I was doing the stuff in Hawaii, that's what it all started out as. It's not as big as it was now,
Yeah.
but it's the same concept. But the mentality of the women now ruins it for future guys because they have this, and then you have guys that cave into this type of behavior, and it ruins it for the longevity because we both been in that world.
Yeah, it's like I'm coming with my U-Haul trailer full of anger and frustration towards men, and I'm taking it out on you, and I'm making you suffer
Yes,
for all the past relationships that I've experienced and I haven't let go of yet. And so it's not I'm not entering this new relationship like free and clear, right? It's like, oh, hey, me and like all my 20 past partners are coming in to hang out. You know what I mean? And we're still gonna fight just like we used to.
I would have all the damage from the 20 guys before all climbed up into one. And if I'm situated in a way that I can handle it, but even if you don't, like you said, if you don't put the work in yourself, right? Even I would get tired of it,
Hmm.
like anything else. How does entitlement in men affect you, you from the
Mm.
past? I like the comparison and what were some of the comments that kind of got under your skin and how it can tie in?
So, I did experience some entitlement in my last relationship, because my partner expected me to be like this like stay at home like wifey type of thing, right? I and he had an expectation that I would
Oh, okay.
he had an expectation that once I left the club, I would turn into a woman who wanted to just stay home and wanted to have kids and wanted to like take care of the house and to cook and to clean, like all of these things, and that I wouldn't want a career for myself and I wouldn't want to do anything for me. So the more work I did on myself and the more that I was trying to following my purpose of what I wanted to
Uh-huh.
create, that created a conflict because he
Oh,
began to see it as wrong. Like, this is wrong. This is not how real women act. And we would have that conversation. Real women don't act this way. You're trying to be the man in the relationship. And so I kind of see both perspectives,
correct.
but at the same time, it was kind of like you're asking me to be something that I'm not. Or you know what it was? he, he was not evoking that desire from me to want
He didn't
to,
pull it out of you.
yes,
Yeah, he
it
didn't.
was
Yeah.
complaining instead of like,
Uh,
instead of like, encouragement and like just the way that some people have this ability to just like pull it out of you where
right.
you're like, oh my God, I have this desire to support you in a whole different capacity. And I think like for myself, I've never felt like that before until like this particular relationship because
Yeah, with Abel, right?
yeah,
Because you
I've
want to.
never felt like, oh my God, I have always had the experience of someone having the expectation that I would. And then when I didn't like fulfill that expectation, it was like frustration and complaining and anger and at the
Yeah.
same time never communicating to me exactly what they wanted.
How does that make? But see, that's where I'm trying to get that key points because you said it correctly. You didn't want to do it because you didn't respect him enough because he's thinking you want to go work at the club, come home, and I get it if say you had kids. Okay,
Right.
it would have been different story because okay, you gotta take care of the kids, you gotta do this, you gotta do and you it's a respect level, a highly respect level because I'm gonna do this for him and the kids and the family. It's the same situation with me and Andrea right now. She works, right? It's not like she's masculine or anything. She provides or anything like that. I do what I can for the kids, and we both have a role right now.
Mhm.
Sometimes I think it sucks, but because because like it drives me nuts sometimes. But at the same time, I understand it because it has to be able to pull that out of you to kind of like switch roles and the expectations of it. Because at the end of the day, if he's not if he's not getting that to get out of you, he ultimately doesn't have your respect in a sense.
Yes. And so it's so interesting that you say that. So yesterday, as we were driving back, Abel and I were having a conversation about things that like inspire us, right? And
Okay.
the one thing that he did say, he was like, the one thing that I appreciate more than anything is like if you say you're going to do something, to be your word. So immediately I thought, well, hold on. Like, I show up for you. I'm following through with the things I said. And he was like, I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about you. When you say you're going to do something for yourself and you don't follow through, he goes, that like brings up something in my body of like frustration. And he's like, and I get angry about it because that means
Oh,
you
you
don't respect yourself and you won't respect me. And I'm like,
I can see he sees that in you.
Yes, when he like no he's yeah he was
Yeah.
sharing with his experience and I was like
Yeah.
that's so funny you say that because I do feel the same way. Like when like even little things and I think this is really important for people to be honest with themselves about is like, hey, when you say you're going to get up at 6 o'clock and your alarm goes off and you just hit snooze, like you're not showing up for you. You're not being your word with you. Like it's
Right.
little tiny things that it
Right.
starts off like that. You say you're going to go work out, you don't go work out.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's, oh, well, I'll do it tomorrow. Well, I'll do it tomorrow.
Oh
I'll go
no.
on that diet tomorrow.
Oh.
You know what I mean? I'm not gonna eat any sugar. And then I just like fucking gorge on a pint of ice cream. And then I'm like, and I've done this before. That's why I'm saying that.
Yeah.
And then I eat a whole pint of ice cream and I'm fucking sick. And then I'm mad at me, right? But the whole thing is it comes down to I get to be my word with me, because that shows myself, how I feel about myself, my self-worth.
Absolutely.
That's the prize, right? Like
Yes,
that's me
that's
being
the
the
prize.
prize, is being my word with me. Like that's the number one thing that shows
And
me that I feel like I'm the prize.
one of the best parts of that is if you can feel the entitlement. See, when me and Doc talk about confidence with the men and stuff, all confidence is doing what you're gonna say that you're gonna do for yourself. That's
Absolutely.
all confidence is. Now, can you feel a little bit of entitlement in that issue for yourself to be the prize? Absolutely, right? Understanding that. But what hit me was he seen that out of you because this is why I know. See, you and Andrew are same because when she says she's gonna do something, it's over. I'm like, oh no, because but I want that for her,
Right.
right? I want because when she latches onto something, right, she's gonna do it just to prove to herself so she can feel confident about this. But she also relinquishes power to me because of our relationships, which is
Hmm.
where you guys are going through in in everything else. Because when you have that surrender part,
Hmm.
entitlement goes out the window. You can joke around about that stuff, right? Like, I don't need you. Yeah, but I want you.
Right.
I don't need you, but you want that person to share everything with because you can tell I can tell from your posts when at one point, one of your posts when I think so, you posted something and I said, yeah, let them know, is the change you had because the post you made about the entitlement, right? You would have jumped on that bandwagon of this.
Oh yeah.
And one now it's no, you're actually voicing your opinion that maybe you may not wrong, you were just misguided,
Hmm.
right? Talk let's talk about that part. How does it feel now being oh, how did you accept it?
Well, I think it comes down to being accountable to myself and responsibility. It's like taking responsibility for my life, um, realizing that I'm fully capable of. I think there was a mindset where I didn't understand that I was fully capable of taking care of me or creating anything spectacular in my life or anything that I wanted. So I felt like I needed to be with someone who was going to fully, totally take care of me. And I'm not saying that that lifestyle is right or wrong. I'm not saying that there's no room for women to be in a relationship or in a marriage where their husband is the sole provider. I'm not saying that's right or wrong at all. I mean, I know that that dynamic is it really is what both people are available for, and
Yes.
if and that's essentially what it is. However, for me, I wanted something more than that. And I as I realized I was fully capable, that just added to my self-worth and my self-esteem. And I was like,
Oh,
oh
that's
wow, like I
amazing.
really am a powerful creator. And whatever I'm thinking is what I'm literally creating in my life. If I truly believe that I cannot take care of myself, then that's exactly what I'll create.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna make a I'm gonna be truly transparent with Carrie right here, right? 10 years ago, years ago, she was down this path. Called her up, FaceTime me, talked to her. From that moment on, when she was like, oh, whoa, whoa, poop, pop, poop, pop, I could relate to all of that because I'm like that. But I seen something in you that I knew one day this would come into fruition. Us talking together about it. We just had to wait and I followed your path all the way through to now. She knows it. That's why she's laughing.
Oh my gosh, you're gonna make me really emotional.
Because I even told her you, and I think so. Like because we talked a couple times. I tried to help you with some marketing stuff. Try to get this thing. It wasn't grabbing. It
Mm-mm,
wasn't grabbing yet, right?
I wasn't there.
Right. You wasn't there.
That
But then now this
self-esteem.
is why it's so cool because when I make this boundaries, when I become a brother for everybody that and Miss Carrie's gonna be one of my panelists to answer questions when I do this, when I all this comes into effect, it's gonna be my pleasure to watch you in action. to
Ah.
help people because, and Abel has a big part of it. I truly do have that because he gives you the oomph that you need because now you became whole.
Mm.
Because I said, I still got friends that's in the life. They're retarded. They're crazy. I got some that came out. Now they're Google analysts. In fact, she wants me to jump on an interview. She used to be a porn star for Vivid.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So now she's a Google analyst.
Oh my gosh.
You gotta make like, I mean, she goes, you call me anytime. But see, those are the things like when you see people change, I mean, and know that not the errors, like we're not here to judge. Like when you see Carrie talk about them, it's not wrong, it's not right, because we've been down that path, and that's the worst thing you can be about the judging part, right? And
Yeah.
it's like to see that, I mean, I'll never stop um giving you your props because of that, because you deserve it all. Everything that comes in your life, you deserve much more and then some, because of nobody understands the amount of work. I understand the amount of work that you have to put in yourself, right?
Mhm.
And now, what kind of what kind of let's see, suggestions would you give women in the modern day women right now about this entitlement issue? Because the thing was women and entitlement. What would you give the old Carrie knowing the new Carrie?
The main question I would ask is, what do you believe that someone outside of you can give you that you cannot give to yourself? And
Oh,
sit and percolate on that.
that's
That simple question, because it comes down to and honestly, it's just like addiction. It's like I believe that this drug or this alcohol or going to the gym or men or shopping can provide me some type of new feeling that I cannot generate within myself. That's essentially it's the exact same thing.
what would be um the top. Hey, that goes to another thing, another avenue, because
Yeah.
that could go and be a whole nother segment. What would be another one that you hold on to that's a habit that you got rid of?
A habit that I hold on to. Do you mean like around entitlement?
Yeah.
I think it's about expectation. So like I do constantly check myself where I'm like, do I have an expectation that my partner's going to show up a particular way? And if I
Give me an
do,
example.
um, like, do I have an expectation that he's going to take me here or spend money on me or buy me all of these things? Like I used to have these expectations with my
Okay,
partner
okay.
um, of him showing up a particular way. And it, or like I used to have this expectation where it was like I wanted to go on the trips and I wanted to do this. Take me here, take me there, and I would
Right.
make these lists of things that I wanted to experience and give them to him. Like, here, I'm giving you the roadmap. I'm telling you everything that I want. Right. And then if you don't deliver, now I'm pissed. Now, I did not do that in this relationship, but I'm talking
Yeah,
about in
yeah, no, this is,
relationships
yeah,
before.
past, yeah, yeah.
It's like, this is what like I wanted to create. And if I did not get that, then it was like, now I'm gonna punish you. Like now
Oh,
I'm not gonna talk to you. I might withhold sex. I'm like,
yeah,
it was
yeah.
that's really a lot of like the transactional piece there too. And I realized that I can still do that today, but in a different way,
Different.
right? Like, are you gonna show up for me emotionally? Are like, I mean, in simple little things. Like, I have this expectation that we're going to spend, 10 minutes having a conversation tonight, like having some kind of, and if you are working late and you tell me, hey, Carrie, I'm going to work for like another hour, then it can easily turn into a resentment. It's like something
It can
so
easily.
small.
Yeah.
I can hold you to that, right? It's something so small where
Right.
it's just kind of like, oh, cool, there's like an ebb and flow. And if he's in a zone, like let him be productive and let him be in, handling whatever he needs to handle. Because if he comes to the reality is this, like if I'm thinking of If I am like really concerned about my partner and want to be in support of him, then I don't want him to come and spend 10 minutes with me if he's going to be in angst and anxiousness and, oh my God, I could have sent this email or I could have finished up this thing because he's not really
Correct.
present with me.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
we both get to set each other up to win.
Yeah. That's gonna be, in fact, that's a perfect way to end the story, to be able to surrender that power. Because at the end of the day, if he's not with you emotionally eternally and he wants to get some work done, and vice versa,
And there's nothing wrong with
it's
that.
gonna be an end of anything,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and
Um,
and it's like when I came into this relationship, he was very clear, like, "Hey, I
yeah.
work
Oh,
X amount of hours a day," and I was like, "Oh, okay." And I guess I didn't realize it until I got here. But at the same time, what's so great about it is it allows me to be really present with my work,
absolutely.
and my
Right.
purpose, or me just, treating myself as the prize and taking myself on a solo date or doing things for
Yeah.
myself, right? Because that's
Yeah.
all going to contribute to my ability to show up for for myself and then for this relationship.
Beautiful. I think I'm gonna end with that end. Guys, folks, women, if you want to put in some work, if you've been in the same situation as Carrie, if you're looking for ways to get out of your situation, this is why I have Carrie, Miss Peluro right here. Find her on at all social medias at carriepeluro.com and see how she can help you strive. If you're a young woman having these resentments, the entitlement issues, being all this stuff as a modern woman, she's your girl because she's done it, believe me. And if you men out there, if you have problems with finding confidence, you're being simped, if you're doing something that you shouldn't be doing and you want to have to command respect and confidence, reach out to the brotherhood. I'll be the brother that helps you to change in a way that you. Carrie, end the show for us because we flew by this thing like it's no tomorrow again.
I think the main message I want to land with is like, ladies, you do not need to demand you're the prize when you're already that. You just get to believe it.
Beautiful. We're going to end with that. My name is Gordon Watt. Aloha. And you are
Carrie
Carrie?
Polero. Carrie
Nice.
Polero.
Man, that was a that was a deep one actually. That was good. You missed this
That
stuff, huh? You
that
missed
was
this
good.
last week.
Oh my God, I did. I did. Oh my God, when you were telling that story about us